like
tomorrow
this all day
afternoon.
long. This is our second DC Marsh reunion, and the different family members are here together.
I'm doing okay.
Really pleased to get a fellowship meeting today. Loving to get up.
Guys walk on the ground, they hold them like
They've been down there 2 weeks.
Hey, you're getting sleepy eyes.
and this guy keeps the gun, he goes,
You know that?
One of their
and
buddies.
fire
Don't you fall
gun.
off that chair.
Just a little fire gun.
Fly bit me.
Oh, and it is excellent.
That's definitely his Marsh trait. He got his mouth from his mother.
Where did it come up
His
at all?
nephew
Where's Uncle
and
Bonnie?
June
Give me
They're
your
on
shorts.
bridges.
moved in that house and take one of their horses. They could have the house for rent. And they was paying $340 a
That's
month.
most where he is.
So they
Every
moved
time I
out
go,
on the farm.
where's Donnie?
And
They
that
go,
was
Donnie.
Mark's idea anyway. He hated his partner.
Donnie put us.
You know, he always wear pictures of flying in with the horses.
This is something that Donnie doesn't want anybody to
Brand
know.
way out there.
Better not tell nobody.
But
That's piece 2 hours.
better ask him
Last
Donnie,
picture.
because he needs to trust
She
you.
said,
Got on?
Yeah.
He needs to
Only
trust
2
you.
hours.
All right, I brought another one.
But you need to tell Uncle Donnie that Mommy said, anybody says to you, don't tell. I want to
Still on the back.
He like makes potatoes gravy.
Sit it someplace in
Donnie was trying to get me mashed potatoes and gravy yesterday, and he
He
wouldn't.
put it.
He said,
Don't
they
get
just
this in
kick
you.
him out. I said, don't they kill him? She said, well, why would they kill him? They just kick him out.
Mommy, what are you going to do?
We're going to go say hello.
Yeah, another, especially right where we live. A lot of malls being built. This one mall is going to be so big that they're going to put hotels and all in this one area. It's going to be really nice.
Well, they must go because you can go ahead and drive. I said, I guess I won't be able to drive. Oh, yes, you will. But I wore my finger out, pointing it at him because that finger stays numb all the time. I just wore it out saying,
I wish it could the others too.
Roxanne!
I know you wished it was my mouth, I guess.
Roxanne!
How you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm gonna stay in this country. a while.
He knows.
Do you remember?
Not as well.
Come on up.
Coming. We make it.
I'll be good
Come on
trouble.
up the staff.
Here's our trail boy.
Nice and cool out here.
I got one
You
chair.
don't see anybody's house, but you slept in somebody's chair last night.
18 flat.
He slept in my chair.
No, I slept on your floor.
Did you get
I
on
had to watch that.
Stevie slept in the walk. There'd be a little stick right there, and little Stevie slept in you.
Well, you traded, did you?
Got one.
Well, maybe a little more room, huh?
You have to watch the kind of,
Your kids coming up, May?
Yeah, that's good.
They go get there for a little bit. Now, Bill's working.
Uh-huh.
Bob just come out of the hospital.
Where are you going?
Well, Betty's gonna bring him up for a little bit.
Why?
And, Bob, I just called Bob. And he's in now, but he's on a run. But he's gonna run up a minute. So, it's just one of them run days.
Well, this is Bill Hartman's class reunion. I don't know whether it's 30 or 25 or what it is, but they had already paid to go to the reunion.
Hi.
So they're not going to be here, but Barry's
How are you doing? Well, looking good.
You're looking good.
Bill had his last name.
Corner of the other
35 years. Look at yourself. You know that's why I already did it.
Oh, well.
I know how to take care of myself.
I
know how to take care of myself.
Well, see, I'm gonna do like the rest of March. I'm gonna wait till I get up there about 70 years old, then go on a diet.
Oh.
That's right. How come you coming now?
Hey, Donnie, you can park up in here.
Make it there anyway.
Okay.
I asked the doctor about that.
You might want to make a quick getaway, Daddy.
Park up in here.
He said it's something that...
Donnie.
We can take some of the cars up above if there's more cars.
So I said I had to... But you did well.
Real good one.
No, but these are the news when it's not a comfortable car. Very good last night. I'm worrying about him. I have to... He was supposed to be out next
I did
week.
what he was
And
doing.
I couldn't get myself here 3 days. Because if I'm pushing it up south. So I
Yeah,
called
that's
them.
me. If I can do anything, as long as I'm not in a hurry. If I get in a
Yeah.
hurry.
So I called them. And maybe I gotta go Monday again for the last shot. And he kind of.
He even before that, this is free for him. He's already had it first.
Come on, Lloyd.
And,
Right there, we good. I looked out
so
the window.
I told him to make
Right
it
there, the garage.
fish.
Right on the yard. Right up the hill.
How you feeling, Garfield?
Something.
Little.
Monday, but that's just, you know,
I'm supposed to go on the 23rd of September.
Physician.
Now,
take our appointments
Physician.
down there.
Now,
Instead of
physician.
sitting on Thursday.
Yeah.
Marguerite, what doctor say?
14.
The 13th, 14th, 15th. Well,
You know, it's sitting on it. It's on the grade. But it just turned out just perfect. Oh, yeah, I put a
didn't stay like
a 412
like that.
roof on
My
it.
legs were so short.
Slope on it, 412. Trust me, that. Yeah, it's got a, same as that is up there.
If you look at Uncle Howard,
Good catch.
Yeah, see, now he's got, only his, that one there must be about 16 foot wide. The one I built, 12 foot 20. But it turned out pretty.
sorry. No, I'm just trying to see my light gauge, that's
Hey, you bring me some potato chips?
Yeah, share 'em
Okay,
with
come on.
There's your dream
Off
mom.
and on.
We haven't started eating yet.
Here, I'll hold him until you get up.
Where's Vicky at? I ain't seen her.
Here, too.
I gotta get mine.
You better watch him, somebody's eating.
Tell them why.
Oh, my.
Tear it up and I can much faster.
Drink.
And we'll pay you the rest.
You never brought no drink up. Okay. Well, cut it here, and then when you want it, I'll hand it to you, okay? Can I have one of these?
Yep. I got each coin. Got one each
You tell Aunt Ethel we had some nice corn to eat. Tell her we got some corn out of the garden.
Corn out of the garden. We got stalks with no corn.
You sold that black one?
I should have left it on there about 3 or 4 more days. Oh, it was good and full, but it just at the top hadn't filled out quite a bit. Oh, it was delicious. I went out there full.
For me,
2 dozen years there.
that's very nice.
That just reminds me, I still have, I think, 5 in my
And I'll tell you something right now. There wasn't any other lessons we got done. They eat it all.
All right, then you'll have to go get some more, won't you?
Made it off at 5 o'clock.
Sarah, don't get scared and go back where you don't take all the comments all turn on your back.
There he goes.
One of these?
What are they got out?
Well, yeah.
Each
So
time.
you cost you a lot of money. And, of course, he sold 3 times what we charge him.
We went to Walmart Garden before we traveled, but Kent Square. Didn't very far. It didn't take us more about an hour. We went down to
What's this big one?
But he
That
sold
big
Wilmington. Pictures all
Well,
in there, and my
75 an acre.
pictures all ran down to 5 and 10. I never went down and picked them all out. In that place, they had great big convoys.
Well,
Sam,
Sam, I was up here for a while.
Some of them were yellow.
Will you sell me those? All right,
People ain't giving it to me.
will you sell me the whole?
Every one of them.
Well,
I know he was.
Hello, Annie.
we got a
You
public
just
ball.
sleep.
Because you know, in the
Because what
buildings, they have
that, what that 78
Open
acres,
it away.
in one
he's
building,
already
George,
find
there's all grass from far end to end.
I think I seen you
Giraffe.
Betty.
78 acres.
Cars
is
drive
allowed.
up to it. And it was lifetime, big. And the other
Okay,
one
look.
had a bear.
Oh, I reckon.
You need all you want.
There's a doll in there, I don't know where it's.
What is it, a house?
Hello, Andy.
The man, the building house.
Hold on, Bob, plenty of carrots.
Five,
Oh, did they
a little bit in the office, 5, 10 acres.
Oh, no, I called, I called Carl, and he said that we could be around 8
And then it's for my birthday.
Carl, Joe, and the girlfriend.
Why don't you take it out, pull it out?
How you doing? Excuse me, how are you?
It's Matthew. That's my little boy.
Just like the other boys.
Well,
How you doing?
out of the
My name is Ian.
70 acres,
No, hey, what's your
I
name?
belong to you.
Hey, what's your
he
name?
sold,
What's your name?
mine.
What's your name? They might tell you about shooting 2 deer with 1 shot. She
Did
told
he
us
tell you
those
about
we
getting
regret.
3? He got 2 with one, killed one, went to kill another, and sold, and got a third one. He said, boy, they got them all
You don't
in.
do this, do you?
You're right. Wait a minute, I'll tell him about my turkey. Okay, now wait, Alma.
Talk about you.
What do you want?
After you finish that, we'll tell about the last time.
Anything.
Ice cream?
I take y'all.
Yeah, getting ready. Well, just about the last time.
Whatever.
You ready? Now, whenever I say roll, you do Okay, wait, Russell, okay. Okay.
Back one, scene one.
Okay, go. I was
Ask you about
Oh, she's grandma, she's double grandma, go be grandma again. And she's having a big time.
You gonna tell your story now? Huh?
I only have 2. Do you remember the time that
Mary's
hello. How are you? Over where all my faces had laid in that stream. So the deer came and his bowstring broke and he stood up to shoot.
Good, Bill?
He wouldn't let me talk for an hour, and then we stood up and the bowstring broke.
I saw you go by the house,
Fell-
you didn't even give me a
the arrow
look.
fell to the ground, and there was about, maybe 8 or 10 deer there, and they started stomping
not
and
on
snorting and
Saturday.
just walking.
There's no tea.
Trying to get you some.
Anything.
I want some ice.
What are you saying? I do what?
Go around and have the brothers and sisters talk about what they remember. Everything that stands out in their childhood.
Take a look at them.
Since you know, they've all told all their children and grandchildren to be good, and they never did anything wrong and all that. It'd be kind of nice to know what they really did.
Will you ask?
Yeah, say John.
Yeah, grandkids need to hear that. Cheer up all of that.
There's stories that Gary
Sad.
tells that get him to tell them.
So I can stand back here.
You can't believe the people that are interested.
Boy, I want to hear all of it. All the dirt, too. About Halloween upsetting Johnny's and stuff. I'm supposed to tell that. Odie's gonna start. He's the oldest. He knows more than the rest of us.
Well, we gotta have some ground rules. You can't help each other.
Can't help each
Can't help each other unless they ask. Unless
Well,
they
I
ask.
tell you who ought to start it. This young man up there started the whole thing and let him start it.
Yeah, let him start it.
No, you didn't hear me right. See, we're gonna.
It's only for the family.
Right, you're right. I'm just a visitor, right.
Get anything out of me, you're gonna choke it.
Oh, really? Well, that's. Why don't you start? Since I know you best.
Hey, I don't know nothing.
Oh, I bet.
Can you get there? I want to stand up. What can you remember I were you little?
That's right.
What can you remember when you were little? Talk about the strawberries, Mom. You know behind, but that's not the beans off the bean beetle. I mean, off the bean.
Hey, I can remember when I was
I can
little,
remember them.
planting onions in the garden tools and digging a big hole, put them in there, and they all come up at one time. Pour 2 gallons of onions down in one hole. And when they come up, my dad, he said, "You plant all them onions?" And I said, "Yeah, right down here." I said, "Yeah, I plant them all, Pop." And here all them onions come up, one hole. And he called me down there and said, "What do you do with all them onions?" I said, "I plant them." He said, "Yeah, right there." And he got the strap.
Oh, man. And then you got the strap.
Whoa. Then I got the strap. Remember one time when I lost the rent too?
Lost the what?
I took the rent to school. I was supposed to stop and pay the rent on the way over. We was living out there. And rent was $10 a month. I was supposed to stop over at Beckner's. So I stopped over there and nobody was home. I took the rent on to school. And then on the way back from school, I think I was in the second grade of school, I was picking up the cigarette packs off the ground, street. And when I threw the empty pack away, I threw the money away. And buddy, if I didn't get a lacing in.
A laser, what's that, Howard?
Man, oh man, I got home and told them I lost the rent money. $10.
$10 like the other these
You
days.
ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Then I took Pop's watch to school one day and got a whipping for that. Well, I didn't get a whipping.
Well, by the time Toodles was there, the strap was wore out, wasn't it, Toodles?
No, it's still hanging.
What I couldn't understand, I used to get a whipping every morning at school, and I used to get in the.
Bird told me. That's what grandma always said.
Check your brothers and sisters.
One time Pop rented this garden out here where, right down here. He rented off Beckner and he planted this garden and the garden and that garden out there, and he had both of them planted. He was down there in the garden doing something. And I don't know who was with me, but one of the kids or something, we was standing up there and we was throwing rocks with a slingshot. Winded up and throw it over, and they was going down in the garden, he kept telling us to stop it. So finally I wound up and let loose on one and went down and hit him. Man, oh man, if I didn't get a skin. I won't forget that.
Well, when I was little, he had a habit, Uncle John taught him to. He was the cussingest kid I ever seen. And the preacher came one day. And I thought, oh my, what are we going to do? And I grabbed him, that my hand was, and I was having to run to another room with, so he wouldn't be in the room with the preacher. I thought, oh, if he'd been there and let loose, he ought sure let loose. He would have. Yeah. He was a mean rascal when he was little.
What did you do, May, that you got punished for when you was little?
Oh, I'll just tell you, I can tell you many times I can't remember.
Can't remember one.
I played hooky. I did. I went to school one day, they were having tests, and I didn't like it. And I come home, I thought, I don't know that test. And I climbed under the front porch and laid on the front porch all afternoon till school was out. And I got up and come to.
Well, there was about 12 or 15 of us out of one room down there. The boys all took off. We went ice skating in the afternoon.
No, this is not it.
Went up on that dam. And coming back down, the next one was he come back down that evening or the next morning. Hazel was looking over Piedmont on Paxton Street. Hey, we went over there and Hazel wrote us all an excuse. Every one of them. She wrote an excuse. And wrote it on different paper. Different colored paper. So we got in, Fisher called us into the office when we got down there. And you know, we was getting by with it, but we had one boy there called, his name was Robert Patrick, and he was about 6 foot tall at that time, or maybe 6.5 foot. He started crying and told on us.
You got chicken.
And Fisher, he come around to me, and he got around all of it, he was going to spank us all, give us all the board. He got around to me and he said, you know, he said, Marsh, he said, I'd give you a whipping if you wasn't such a big boy. And I said, that's just exactly what I figured. And I walked out of the office. So a couple other days, about a week or so after that, I was sitting in the room in there in math class, and I've been over to Thomas Shue, and Miss Poland was a teacher, and she said, Marsh, what are you doing? I said, Thomas Shue. And she said, well, the first thing you see about you is your big feet anyway. And I looked up there and I said, yes, the first thing you see about you is your big belly, too. and so she said, you get out of this office and go up to the principal's office. You get out of this room. You can't come back no more. So I went up there and I told Fisher what happened. And was sitting there, and they had a party up in 7A or something, and they brought it featured down ice cream and hot chocolate and cake and all. So Peter gave it to me. He said, I don't want it. He said, here, Howard, you eat it. So I was sitting there eating chocolate cake and eating ice cream and drinking hot chocolate. And then comes Miss Paul, and she said, that's the way you treat the boys that talk to me like that, huh? So I said, she said, Daddy, he owes me an apology. I said, yeah, but she owes me one too. She apologized to me, and then I apologized to her. You know, she did say she was sorry. Then she let me back in the room.
What happened to you, Otis?
Nothing.
Come on, Otis. Something had to happen.
Nothing that he can tell.
He just got married.
He just got married. Come on, Otis.
The only thing I regret, maybe one thing I regret, I worked, when I went to work, I was just a kid. They took everything, all my money, all but 50 cents. And that stuck in my mind ever since. That's all I got to say.
My pop was sick, fell on his back, they had no income, and when Otis and I went to work, I was 14, I guess he was about 15, and we worked at the mill. And we never got our checks.
Never got it.
Did you work at the mill, Amy?
Yeah, I went to work from about 14
Well, shoot, I used to set duck pins and make 50 cents,
Yeah.
60 cents a night, and
But-
bring it home and give it to Mom, and she used to save that money and pay the rent.
That's the truth. But Pop was
I know what he was, that lasted with me all the way. And
Yeah, but
We
that was
used to get a hamburger,
after your daddy died. wasn't
big
it?
hamburger,
I told your dad
made it work, and a Coke for all the 6 cents.
Mom and Pop always did
And,
have that.
But I just told Chester that not too long ago.
Hey, Otis.
Few years ago, that's the whole thing.
Otis,
Keep in mind.
tell us about your Halloween.
I never got to cash my
I
check.
didn't have no home.
Otis said that his daddy got sore at him because he bought a new suit when we got married, and they thought that he shouldn't have had the new suit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I was going to say that's why he got married.
I bought a new suit when we was going to get married, and
And you kept your last check.
I kept my last check. When I kept that check, that's when the baloney hit the fan.
Well,
The best man.
I went to work. I went to work
You
with Pop
got
in the
married
mine.
and then Athlon took your check. So that's what happened, Otis.
You know, I went to work with Pop in the mines, worked in the mines with him for a couple of years when I was a kid.
That's what I think.
And he was working
Right
for
now, I don't give it to her. She puts my arm up my back.
I worked 5 days and a half a week in the mine with him up there for Raleigh and Robinson's. Him and I was his buddy. We worked in there. And when we get to payday on Saturday night, if I got $1, I was lucky. Hand me $1
But I'll tell you one thing, you
for
sure
5.5 days a week. Huh?
You changed, bud.
Now I'll hand $1.
All right, it's Toodles.
Yeah.
Garfield's time. Come on, Garfield.
I already said what I was saying.
Otis hadn't signed a check, and I said that he told me, he says, pay the telephone and the television bill when you're down the street today. And I went into the senior citizens down there to get him to sign the check. It was his check, and I went in to get him to sign the check, and you should have heard him in there. And they said, what'd you do? Give her the check? And he says, if I don't give it to her, she gives me a beat. And he says, I have to have it.
I know a story.
Go ahead.
Tom Garfield ran away from home.
Oh, boy.
And the whole world stopped till they found
I
him.
bet it did.
It did.
Okay, tell us.
I don't know where it stopped at.
Hey, you tell us about
Well,
it.
Pop bought him a car, and he come home. He was happy.
Oh, he didn't buy a car till after I got back.
Well, that's
It's coming back.
I told you he was spoiled.
Yes, he was spoiled.
I tried to tell him that, but he
Never mind, he's got one here. That's exactly right.
I don't know who that was.
Well, I haven't been spoiled lately.
He wants a
another car.
You have to run away from home.
Morning, Susan.
The only time I ever remember getting a licking is when, let's see, when Pop was down around the house here and he says to me, you come down here and help me pick these bean beetles. And I started up through the yard and I says, I ain't doing it. And by the time I ain't doing it, I knew I better run. So I started to run. By the time I got around here, he's come around here, and I got that strap that they're talking about. That was one time. Let's see. Well, Mom, she threw potatoes a lot of times at me. For talking about upsetting the table. You remember upsetting the table?
You were sitting at the kitchen window where the pump was, you know, and we were sitting around the breakfast table.
Grandma.
And she said, Charles, why don't you get back home out there where you belong? And you said something to her. Was that the time?
Could have been so many times.
And you said something to her, and it made her so mad. Up with it. Gravy and all.
Gravy, the breakfast was set. I don't know what happened that morning, but anyway, there goes the table. Turned right over and set it on the floor.
And I said, this is one mess. I'm not cleaning it.
That gravy binge you're talking about, I think I ate enough sink of battleship. I like gravy.
Yeah,
That's what he always talks about.
that was good gravy.
Mother's white gravy.
Right?
That cornbread, you take that white stuff out of the middle of it. That cornbread was good. That was good for
2 or 3 hours.
That was good.
Boy, she could cook steak or kill herself.
That used to be our Sunday breakfast. Steak gravy and when oysters is in season, Pop used to have oysters, steak gravy, and biscuits. That was every Sunday. That's the only time we ever had meat, though. Really was on Sunday. That was
A
chicken.
lot of families in those days.
Yeah.
Sunday was your meat day.
Yeah.
Beans and taters. And
Yeah,
the corners where the steak.
One time I was painting the kitchen. This old kitchen was on here. I just got done. I had it all painted.
Oh, this is
The whole thing painted, all except the trim underneath the kitchen table was sitting right there. All except the trim underneath there. And I was sitting under the table trimming the woodwork. And Mom she'd been fussing for about 2 or 3 hours. And I just got so mad, I just had that thing of paint and I just lifted up the table and threw it all over the kitchen. The whole thing.
Then we had to clean that mess up.
I just threw that whole quart of paint all over the kitchen.
Did we clean it or did you clean it?
No, we did.
I helped her clean it up.
I was mad enough to roll it in it. But see, I got mad too.
But I had everything, I had all the ceilings painted, the walls painted, and everything trimmed all the way around except right in that corner.
And poor Mrs. Marsh, she'd say, she said, I just can't help it. She'd say, I just lose my temper and I just can't help myself. Because you know how angry she got. I say, now, Mrs. Marsh, I get mad too. I get mad enough to run my fist right through the wall. You don't see me do it to you. She couldn't hold her temper. And he was just like her.
But didn't she throw coffee into the paint?
No.
I remember one time Dad was painting and she come out here and he just got done and she was on the rampage and just threw a cup of coffee right against his face. And he took the bucket to go, hey.
The only problem with stuff like that is you got to clean it up.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
Dry, man.
Filled the well in.
Oh, my. Mom raised kids, she bugged for 3 days. Couldn't keep her quiet.
I'll call Bob and
She, I don't know whether she was down at Otis's at your house or whether she was down Mays or somewhere she'd went. She was going to be gone for a day or two. And I was digging the cellar out. Well, Carolyn and Bobby and Patty had been playing on the well, and I'd put a new top on the well. About the time I'd get a top on that well, it'd start rotting and it'd be all. And I was scared they was gonna fall in it. They just couldn't keep nothing on it. And the whole well was all full of sulfur. Couldn't ever use it. It stunk. So that morning when she was away, I was down that Sunday morning. I was wheeling that stuff out there, so I just took the sledgehammer, knocked the top off that well and filled it in while she was gone. Now, Mr. Man, when she come back, and what God, she didn't miss the well for about a day, see? Didn't even know it was filled in. But when she found out it was filled in,
I know the roof that the band is.
It's your mom really raised came in.
She argues for 3 hours, 4 hours at a time. Yes, she does. She don't let it go.
We got Marsh.
That Debbie tells the truth.
Hey, Debbie don't lie.
That's the only Marsh temple we got.
Is that right, Debbie?
That's right. When she starts, that's it.
Oh, oh, she sees a little piece of dirt. She said, "You got it. I got it." See a little piece of dirt. See what you got?
Yes, but he always said before, because the grandkids was there, well,
Tell you what, I heard so much raising kings and caught so much king when I was
How
young.
are you?
My kids have to do something awful bad before I get on them, because I just don't get on my kids unless they do something really bad. I heard enough of it.
Nothing good, all bad.
That's the same way with me, Howard. I was chew that for damn it. I can't stand it. That's why I don't say nothing like it. I can't stand bothering them. They have to do something awful bad. I wanted that damn bicycle and I worked. I could have got that bicycle, but they never let me have the bicycle. Never let me. I was having me.
you couldn't ride a bicycle anyway.
I don't think any to learn it then. I don't think any boy ever had a bicycle.
You just didn't know how to get around the old man, that's all.
I never got one.
I wouldn't did me.
Only bicycle.
I tried and I never could ride a bicycle.
No, he had a car.
I had a
I
car.
heard that story and.
I can remember giving Dirty Rickman a nickel to let me ride his bicycle.
Yes,
Took me 10 hours on one day.
That's true. Kids had bicycles, but every time I got on it,
That's what he had, was a road for that, don't you?
I was just big enough to remember when they got it. I don't know anything about it. He was working in the mines room. They got the car. Got that car.
See, I loaded for him.
I've had some hard work in the mine.
I'll tell you one thing, anybody ever works in a 4-foot pole, my boy, that's terrible.
I went in the mines one time and a bunch of us up here on the other hill. Went back in the mines,
4-foot
very far back in there. I turned around and looked out, and the hole with the door on it,